safety and security scrutinized in Saskatchewan. The review underway with the goal of making hospitals safer. Loche marks a difficult anniversary, the strength and resilience in the community 10 years after a deadly shooting. And a Saskatchewan teen bowling down the competition.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with changes coming to hospitals across the province. The health authority is responding to rising incidents of violence with additional security, while the province is launching a full-scale review of hospital safety. Keenan Sorokon reports.
The province is responding to a number of violent incidents in Saskatchewan hospitals by putting metal detectors in more places and launching a full review of hospital safety and security.
It's an opportunity to take a step back and say, let's look at the larger picture here.
The third-party independent review comes at the request of the Saskatchewan Health Authority and will look at all current practices and give recommendations to improve safety at facilities across Saskatchewan.
Our hospitals must be safe places for patients, families, and teams who provide care.
One immediate change is metal detectors. Saskatoon emergency departments at St. Paul's Hospital, City Hospital, and Royal University Hospitals are in use, as are the emergency departments at Regina General and Pasqua Hospital. Metal detectors will be installed at Prince Albert's Victoria Hospital, Battleford's Union Hospital, and Regina's Urgent Care Centre next month. But the union representing hospital security says weapons and tools like these are recovered all the time, and there's still gaps.
At RUH alone, there's an additional 14 other entrances. So how many other weapons are getting into these buildings and impacting safety?
The SHA is hiring 51 more security personnel to run the metal detectors. SEIU West says pay for security guards tops out at less than $25 an hour, making retention a challenge.
We have had security officers being told by possibly new security officers that are starting, I'm not going to put myself on the line for this amount of money.
These changes come less than 2 weeks after 36-year-old Trevor Dubois died following an altercation with hospital security in Saskatoon, as well as numerous other incidents of weapons and violence elsewhere.
There's no need for these weapons to be in our healthcare facilities. Absolutely not.
Cockrell says there's no timeline for how long this comprehensive review will take, understanding there's plenty of urgency from hospital staff and patients about safety concerns. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Meanwhile, the Saskatchewan Health Authority says it has met with the family of Trevor Dubois, who died at RUH after a physical altercation with security, and will keep them informed of what it learns.
When we met with them, it was really our opportunity to just say, how badly we feel for the loss, and our commitment to ensure that we learn from the situation.
The 36-year-old Dubois was undergoing chemo treatment for a brain tumor at RUH earlier this month. Security was called to his room, where police say a fake gun, meth, and drug supplies were found. His family said the fake gun was a cigarette lighter and have been calling for answers about what happened. Andrew Will says the SHA is committed to keeping Dubois' family and the public informed about what happened once the investigation by police and the coroner's office and an internal review are completed. The security guard involved in the incident has been suspended pending the outcome of the investigations. Today marks 10 years since the deadly shooting in the northern community of Loche. A day of remembrance was held today as the community continues to heal from a tragedy that forever changed it. Carla Shinkerick reports.
The northern community came together for a somber anniversary. 10 years later, the pain of the Loche school shooting still lingers, especially for families who continue to live with the loss.
I can still recall that day very vividly, and I think about it quite often. Where I was, getting the phone call. Jeffrey Klein's mother was among those injured in the 2016 shooting. She survived but suffered serious injuries. His father was the vice principal at the Loche school during the shooting. Both parents died about 3 years ago. The last couple of years since mom and dad have been gone, it's for sure been tougher. And now that life's kind of slowed down, we start to think of it more and more. Community members gathered Thursday at the Roman Catholic Church in Loche for a 10-year day of remembrance, honoring the victims and supporting one another. The event was hosted by the Dene High School and School Division.
The former interim mayor at the time of the shooting, Kevin Janvier, says he's amazed how resilient the community has been, admitting he thought it would be decades before they moved on from the tragedy.
Today, seeing those residents and the kids going through those doors each day, each and every day at Denver High School, uplifts the people in Loche.
The shooting claimed the lives of 4 people and shook the entire province, sparking conversations around mental health and healing in the north.
It's a time to reflect on, what was the tragic loss of 4 individuals, not just from Loche, but from our province and 4 Canadians.
Klein is a teacher today and hopes one of the things that comes out of this tragedy is better support for those involved in these types of events, like compassion training for victims and families, so others don't have to suffer through the aftermath like his family. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A cold warning is in effect for almost all of the province. Environment Canada says a colder and windier air mass is moving into Saskatchewan over the next few days, bringing falling temperatures and wind chill values dropping to the -40 to -45 range, with the coldest periods being during the night. People are being reminded to dress for the weather and cover up as frostbite can develop on exposed skin within minutes. The city of Saskatoon is reminding people to learn about emergency warm-up locations, so if they or someone they see needs shelter during the cold, they know where to go. Meanwhile, school bus service has been canceled in several parts of the province due to the cold. In Saskatoon, both the public and Catholic divisions did not have their buses running this morning. Bus service is typically suspended when the temperature, including the wind chill, reaches -45. However, all schools remained open. Jeff, it's going to be cold for several days now.
Yes, it is. We will get a bit of a reprieve, and I emphasize the word bit in that sentence, because we have temperatures that are going to be in the -20s, the high -20s as we make our way into tomorrow and Saturday, a bit of a break on Sunday, and then we have a sort of return to some cooler temperatures. But eventually, this time next week, things start to moderate and we get back to seasonal values. But until then, cold Arctic air mass hammering down, particularly on Saskatchewan and Manitoba, but impacting so many other parts of North America as it moves across the continent. And this is going to make its way into southern parts of the states. They're expecting some freezing ice, some ice storms. It could be very impactful. They will be very impactful. And so we'll talk about more of those details later on.
There are calls tonight to help Saskatchewan residents find a family doctor. As Mick Favel reports, the organization representing physicians in the province is pushing for a way to help connect doctors and potential patients.
1 in 4 people in Saskatchewan are without a family doctor, according to a 2025 survey done by Angus Reid Institute. Now the Saskatchewan College of Family Physicians is petitioning the province to create a registry for residents who are without a doctor. With the public forming their own methods of finding available doctors, the college says a registry is needed now.
People have lists of offices that they call weekly, monthly. There are Facebook groups that have developed to kind of like, oh, I've heard that this office is accepting a new physician and might have some new spots. And people are just so desperate.
2 months ago, the survey determined there are 300,000 Saskatchewan residents without a family doctor, which is above the national average. McGonigal says having a registry could save time and relieve some pressure for those searching for a physician on their own.
And also quite taxing for the physician offices. Their admin staff have definitely noted over the past, especially 5 years, the calls are just through the roof that they have to field on a daily basis.
The government of Saskatchewan says it's committed to ensuring everyone in the province has access to primary health care by the end of 2028. Minister of Health Jeremy Cockrell says there have been positive steps made in the past year.
There has been some work done on, both registries of providers and then thinking about how we can accurately determine attachment numbers and ensure that we're moving in a positive way to more patients being attached to primary care.
There are 2 petitions online right now, one for physicians and one for the public, which will eventually go to the Minister of Health.
We really do want to work with the government and the ministry and the SHA in making sure that a registry like this is developed in the best way possible.
The Saskatchewan Health Authority used to list clinics taking on new patients on its website, but it was taken down as it was too challenging to update. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
Wadena RCMP have arrested and charged a man after weapons were seized from a home on the Fishing Lake First Nation. RCMP found and seized 9 guns, 2 bows and a crossbow, as well as more than 450 rounds of assorted ammunition. RCMP arrested 30-year-old Wyatt Desjardins, who was near the home for breach of conditions. He was also charged with unauthorized possession of a firearm and unsafe storage of a firearm. He was scheduled to appear in court earlier today. As the costs for Saskatchewan municipalities to maintain services and infrastructure continue to skyrocket, cities are looking for new ways to increase revenue. But as Donovan Mace tells us, they are facing challenges because of provincial rules.
One Regina City councillor is calling current municipal tax collection options outdated.
Property taxes alone are fully inefficient and actually quite a regressive and unfair tool for both residents and businesses.
Bound by provincial legislation, Saskatchewan municipalities' primary source of revenue is property taxes. Now, cities may also charge service fees and access other government grants, as well as receive money through Saskatchewan's municipal revenue sharing program.
What we're finding with the pressures and the responsibilities now, that is no longer adequate with some of the changes that have happened to sustain our municipalities.
Regina is now joining the advocacy efforts, passing a resolution with the aim of enhancing municipal revenue tools and fiscal fairness, including potential new or improved taxation alternatives, reinstating provincial grants or surcharges, and asking to be exempt from PST on construction projects.
If we don't pay PST on construction, we have more money that we can invest in other projects to make up that deficit faster.
Saskatoon is having similar discussions in search of ways to fund tourism initiatives through a potential accommodation tax.
Saskatchewan should follow the model of other provinces and either have a provincial tax or enable municipalities to levy that surcharge.
In 2025 and 2026, the government of Saskatchewan will distribute more than $361 million across the province through municipal revenue sharing, with the province saying the commitment aligns with its promise to develop a long-term revenue sharing plan with the municipal sector linked to the performance of the province's economy.
We really appreciate the revenue sharing that we receive from the province, but it's not sustainable.
Regina Council's resolution will now be taken to SUMA's board for review before possibly being put to members at its meeting in April. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
A Saskatchewan teen can take credit for a very rare achievement considered the pinnacle of bowling. Striking a perfect game doesn't happen often, but over the weekend he joined the elite club. CTV's Allison Bamford went to the bowling alley in Biggar where it all went down.
Throw after throw. Tanner Pollock spends hours on these lanes.
Almost every day.
The 14-year-old picked up the sport about a year ago, and in the fall he set his sights on bowling the perfect game. 12 consecutive strikes totaling 450 points, a rare feat many go their whole lives without reaching.
It's happened before where I've gone all the way to 11 strikes down to the last throw, but usually I missed it.
But on Sunday, during his 22nd game of the day, Tanner struck perfection. By himself on the middle lanes, listening to Queen play through the sound system.
When there's a lot more people and stuff, it's harder to bowl.
Just one other person was around, Melissa Rashke, the owner of Biggar Bowl, catching the big moment on camera.
I've never been around a perfect game. It's amazing that Tanner was able to do this and that I got to witness it.
The Canadian 5-Pin Bowlers Association sanctioned just 13 perfect games in the 2024-25 season. Now, Tanner's game won't count under those guidelines because he didn't score it during league play. But that doesn't make it any less impressive.
Butterflies in the stomach, kind of seeing that thrill and that joy for him was really incredible.
Along with pride, Tanner received $1,000 from the bowling alley for throwing a perfect game. He'll put that towards new bowling balls, shoes, and a bag to help chase his next goal.
I'd like to do good in like a provincials tournament.
Something he hopes to strike off his list this year. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Biggar, Saskatchewan.
The cold has many in Saskatchewan trying to escape. Damien Smith on the warmer destinations drawing residents away.
It's cold out there. During grueling temperatures in Regina, it's the perfect time to go south for a vacation. For SeaWorld travel, Mexico continues to be the top spot for Regina citizens.
They try to focus on non-U.S. destinations, like of course Mexico. It's the top priorities right now for them because they love to go Mexico and there is no political things going on there.
With 2 year-round direct flights to U.S. markets, YQR says filling seats has not been an issue.
It's interesting for us because we just got that Denver flight, so for us our transborder traffic is actually up over 2024 with those daily flights to Denver and Minneapolis.
After 12 years as a travel agent, Cigar has seen a broader selection of flights in the past.
But when there are less flights, then the price gets expensive, and that's where it's the complaint about the fares. Their fares has been more higher than what they have paid in the past 5 years.
And we are always talking to new airlines, our existing airlines, to give more opportunities out of Regina.
YQR says that passenger numbers continued to be strong, recording over 1 million air travelers in 2025.
In southern Saskatchewan, we love those sun destinations. So the winter at YQR is busy. If you come here in the morning, we have a lot of people going to those sun destinations just for a week, just for a little reprieve during January. It's cold out there.
YQR says that the most notable direct flights that passengers have recommended to them are Chicago and Ottawa. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, the latest comments that could impact upcoming trade negotiations for Canada. Also taking a deeper dive into U.S. discussions on Greenland. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us tonight. Prime Minister Mark Carney delivered a national address this afternoon as he remains in the global spotlight over his speech at the World Economic Forum. The U.S. president has responded to Carney's remarks by saying he should remember that Canada lives because of his country. Today, the Prime Minister pushed back.
Canada and the United States have built a remarkable partnership in the economy, in security, and in rich cultural exchange. But Canada doesn't live because of the United States. Canada thrives because we are Canadian.
In a nod to his Davos speech, the Prime Minister said Canada can't solve all the world's problems, but he thinks the country can be an example to a world that's at sea, protecting democratic values and freedoms. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre said he is willing to work with Mark Carney to turn his words about protecting Canadian sovereignty into results, saying we need to do things, not just say them. He also noted that Carney ran on a pledge to reach a deal with the U.S. That speech from Carney in Davos this week is still spurring reaction. In his own speech at the forum today, the U.S. Commerce Secretary had pointed remarks for Carney and what he described as whining from Canada. Mike Couture now on what it could mean for trade and negotiations.
Give me a break. They have the second best deal in the world. And all I got to do is listen to this guy whine and complain.
U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick called the Prime Minister's speech in Davos political noise. Tuesday, Mark Carney urged middle powers to band together against more powerful countries that use economic coercion. Lutnick warned those words will be remembered during this summer's trade review.
They have USMCA, which means 85% of the Canadian economy comes into the United States for zero. And there he is complaining that he's going to go to China and improve it.
Canada's finance minister pushed back on those comments.
Prime Minister said a lot of things that people thought, and he had the courage to say it loud. I think Canadians have understood by now that diversification is key.
Meanwhile, the reverberations of Carney's message continue to be felt with other world leaders.
I think we have a lot of Europeans who are in this first camp of multilateralism, whereas the American administration is driving multipolarity. And we're trying to make these two things meet.
Australia's finance minister called the speech stunning, adding it makes a powerful point about the old world order being done.
So the job for us, the job for our Canadian friends, is to work out
how we can shape all of this change in our own interests.
California governor and possible Democratic presidential contender Gavin Newsom also praised Carney at Davos for calling out the current state of the world, adding Americans need to do the same. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
After striking a new framework for negotiations with NATO Secretary General, Donald Trump backed down from taking Greenland by force and imposing tariffs on European nations opposed to his actions. Today, we're getting a better sense of what was discussed. Judy Trin has been looking at what Canada's role in this might be.
Canada to really step up. The framework for negotiating the future of Greenland was drafted in a meeting between the U.S. President and NATO's Secretary General. It could include more American bases and troops on Greenland and drilling rights to critical minerals, all to prevent Russia and China from gaining a foothold in the Arctic.
When it comes to Greenland specifically, their economy, their military situation, Russia and China will never get access.
And the Danes and sovereignty, is that all assured?
We didn't discuss at all about that issue.
The leaders of Denmark and the semi-autonomous territory of Greenland were not part of the discussion. They're not willing to give up their sovereignty.
We have some clear red lines what's been delivered to the president, and nothing about a deal on mineral resources or anything else. But that's something the further discussions that we are willing to take.
You know, NATO cannot just make an agreement with the United States about Greenland. NATO does not have that authority. So we're going to have to see how that plays out.
The framework involves boosting security for the entire Arctic region. There are 8 countries in the Arctic Circle, other than Russia. All of them are NATO members. At Davos, the NATO chief met with Mark Carney. The Prime Minister committed to fully participating in the defense of the region. In a readout, Carney emphasized Canada's plan to quadruple defense spending over the next decade with investments in the Arctic, such as over-the-horizon radar, year-round presence on land, sea, and air, and new critical infrastructure.
Canada currently has about 300 full-time soldiers and 1,700 Canadian Rangers protecting the Arctic, along with 4 military bases. To quadruple defense spending in a decade will require spending about $150 billion annually. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Security and defense are issues at the forefront right now, and today Ukraine's president called out Europe during an address to world leaders following a meeting with Donald Trump.
Just last year, here in Davos, I ended my speech with the words, "Europe needs to know how to defend itself." A year has passed, and nothing has changed. We are still in a situation where I must say the same words, but why? The answer is not just about the threats that exist or may appear. Each year brings something new for Europe and for the world.
Volodymyr Zelensky insisted Europe needs to act now and described it as a fragmented group of small and middle powers. The Ukrainian leader says Europe looks lost trying to convince Trump to change instead of taking the lead in defending freedom worldwide. Zelensky discussed security guarantees and a plan for post-war recovery during his meeting with the U.S. president. More than 175 million people across the U.S. are bracing for what weather experts are warning could be a potentially catastrophic ice storm set to hit over the coming days.
Really plan on prolonged power outages, so have supplies and get ready for this one. It's a big event and expansive. I mean, from New Mexico to all the way to New England. We'll see some of the snow and ice, so just an incredible impact across the board.
Don't begin getting prepared late tomorrow or think you can get around doing it on Saturday. It's going to be too late.
Several states have declared states of emergency or disaster, and airlines on both sides of the border have warned operations could be impacted. U.S. natural gas prices have also been skyrocketing higher in recent days thanks to the extreme colds. Not that it makes us feel better, but we are not alone in this.
No, we are most certainly not alone. But right now, we will not be, in fact, we won't be dealing with ice storms, although some parts of Canada will be dealing with snow squalls. That's basically the Great Lakes region. And there'll be snow in Atlantic Canada. And certainly active weather is there, but the big deal of the day, of course, is just the cold Arctic air, and that is the trigger for all of these events, and we'll get into that in a little bit more. But let's take a look at our numbers right now. We are quite cold here in Saskatoon, minus 32 degrees, close to that in Prince Albert and the Battlefords, and even these light winds make these temperatures feel like they're either into the minus 40s or darn close to it. Let's take a look at our almanac for Saskatoon. So minus 24 is our high today, so 12 degrees below seasonal. Now, this minus 33 degree for a 24-hour low. We're at 32 right now on the minus side of things, so that could very well change when the full-fledged stats are in tomorrow. Minus 12, minus 22 are typical for this time of January. 7, the record warm temperature in 1942. The record cold temperature from over a century ago, minus 44 degrees. The sun came up at 9:01, and it went down at 5:36.
Coming up, Jeff returns with this week's entertainment options in After Hours. And later, who's getting the nod for the upcoming Academy Awards.
Undefeated on the hard court. Friday on Your Morning, we're finding out what's behind the success of the U of S Huskies women's basketball team.
All right, we'll take a look. Wow, as I've said on other occasions, looks can be deceptive. And look, a beautiful sky, a slash of orange along the skyline as the sun gets ready to set. And as we head into the next few days, well, we're going to be setting around and keeping warm. That's what the best strategy will be. So let's take a look at our satellite and radar shot here. Just look, you can see this big swirling effect, and it makes its way all the way out through the United States, out behind me, into parts of Atlantic Canada. This is a big, big system, and the jet stream steering this system southward. And as we mentioned earlier on, we've got a significant, impactful storm right across North America. The United States and Canada are going to be feeling the effects of this polar vortex and this cold Arctic air as we make our way into the next number of days. It's going to take a while for the coldest air to get down south and out to eastern and Atlantic Canada, but it's getting there. It will get there. Minus 32 in Saskatoon, minus 30 in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. The hot spot in the province, minus 11 degrees in Val-Marie. Key Lake, the cold spot, at a chilly minus 40 degrees. Minus 30 right now in Lloydminster, minus 31 in Swift Current, minus 32 in both Regina and Yorkton, minus 30 in Estevan. Cold warning is in effect for just about the entire province. Minus 29 degrees in Meadow Lake and Kindersley, minus 29 in Hudson Bay. A number of other communities, though, in the low minus 30s in central parts of the province. Up north, not quite at minus 40 yet, but I won't be surprised if we hit that. Minus 35 right now in Key Lake and Collins Bay. The warmest we get on this part of our map isn't warm at all. It's minus 28 in Buffalo Narrows and South End. And down south, we have got ourselves minus 26 degrees right now in Maple Creek and East End, and then it cools off to minus 33. That is the current temperature in Indian Head and Last Mountain Provincial, Regional Park, rather. Our future cast, well, windy conditions along the foothills, but it starts to lessen as we make our way into tomorrow. So that's where the windiest conditions are. The rest of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and parts of Northern Ontario dealing with diminishing winds, and that is a good thing because the even just a little bit of wind makes these core temperatures feel all that much colder. Temperatures in the mid to high minus 20s, low minus 30s for Northern Saskatchewan tomorrow. Minus 27 for both Meadow Lake and Rosetown. Minus 24 in Kindersley. Minus 28 in Spiritwood tomorrow for a high. Minus 18 for Maple Creek, but then into the minus 20s for Leader, Outlook, and Swift Current. Outlook sunny and minus 28. Temperatures hovering around that minus 26 or minus 27 degree mark for southeastern Saskatchewan. And as you can see, I'll say a mix of sky conditions, but really only Yorkton is dealing with mainly sunny conditions, otherwise more cloud cover. Sunny or mainly sunny skies in east central Saskatchewan, minus 30 in Melfort, minus 29 in Watrous, minus 31 in Humboldt, minus 27 in Hudson Bay. The Battleford's dropping down to minus 38 degrees tonight with a reminder that with exposed skin and these temperatures, even a light wind, exposed skin will freeze in minutes. Minus 29 temperature for tomorrow in the Battleford's. On Saturday, it's minus 26, minus 16, which will feel manageable on Sunday and Monday, but cooling off a little bit on Tuesday and Wednesday. And 1 week from today, minus 13, and that is the beginning of a trend upwards in terms of our temperatures. Minus 38 degrees in Prince Albert overnight tonight, minus 30 tomorrow for a high. And then we've got ourselves minus 28 on Saturday, minus 19 on Sunday, minus 16 on Monday, but drifting back again, backsliding to minus 19 on Tuesday and Wednesday. 1 week from today, minus 15, which is still below seasonal. A minus 38 degree temperature, but feeling like minus 48 overnight in Saskatoon. Winds out of the southwest at 10. The wind does not change. The temperatures do, but it still feels cold, feeling like minus 39. And then as we take a look at Saturday, minus 28, minus 18 on Sunday, minus 15 on Monday, cooling off to minus 18 on Tuesday and Wednesday, and Thursday, minus 13.
It's time we started talking, speaking out our mind, trying to make up sugar for all that long lost time.
The BC Reed Big Band is live on stage Friday night at the Basement. The music starts at 8:30. Saturday, the Basement hosts Bellbird, a jazz quartet from Montreal.
Nothing. No thing.
Slugs, described as a comedy, music, clown, puppet nightmare, is the brand new show from fringe favorites Creepy Boys. You can catch it at the Refinery on Friday and Saturday.
I got faith. I got a reason.
Friday, the E.A. Rawlinson Centre in Prince Albert welcomes the North Sound. The curtain goes up at 7:30. Annie-Claude Deschênes will be cranking out the techno disco vibe at Amigos on Friday night.
My God, we have nothing in common.
Kevin McDonald of Kids in the Hall fame brings his comic rock opera Superstar to the Broadway Theatre on Saturday. Prairie Fibre Full Circles is a group exhibition showcasing Saskatchewan fibre art. The exhibit opens Saturday at the Saskatchewan Craft Council Gallery. The Saskatoon Jazz Orchestra is one of 4 groups presenting the Big Band Theory 4.0. Go Canada! Also on the bill, the Footnotes Big Band, the Stone Frigate Big Band, and the University of Saskatchewan Jazz Ensemble. That's Sunday night at the Broadway. Grammy-winning and, yes, Oscar-nominated folk music icon Judy Collins will be performing at a fundraising concert at Grosvenor Park United Church on Tuesday. What a way to wrap up the month. On Saturday, January 31st, the Darcy Clayton Band will be blowing the lid off the Capitol Music Club.
All right, Jeff, you're taking us outdoors for Pick of the Day.
We have got a lot of great outdoor pictures, and we're trying to select as many as we can, but we're going to take a picture of this one. It's lovely. Check this out. This comes to us from Charlotte. Went for a sled ride, clearing trails and grooming them on Sled Lake. So sled ride clearing on Sled Lake, that is just great. And Charlotte, that is a lovely, lovely image, and I think we're going to get a check from Polaris. We'll let you wet your beak. There we go. Right. We've also got a picture here from Jean Cody in Humboldt. Picture was taken during, quote, a day of cross-country skiing at the Humboldt Golf Course. Beautiful shot there, some hoarfrost. This is from earlier, I think last week is when they sent this in. And finally, from Jeff in Saskatoon. Jeff says, from Spirit's latest photo session. And Spirit's looking pretty good. Lovely green eyes on that kitty cat. So thank you, Jeff, for sharing that image. And if you'd like to share an image with us, please send it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. And please put Pick of the Day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, Hollywood hopes who's in the running for an Oscar this year. It's the day actors around the world hope to hear their name called. The 98th Annual Academy Award nominations were announced this morning. CTV's Andrea Case with those details.
It is the not-so-little movie that could. K-pop Demon Hunters is now a two-time Academy Award-nominated film. Co-written and co-directed by Toronto's Maggie Kang, it is the first Korean animated film to contend for an Oscar. And the chart-topping song Golden from the film will face off in the Best Original Song category. Kang, a graduate of Oakville, Ontario's Sheridan College, will be joined by another former student, Domi Shi.
Okay, come and get me.
She is nominated for her animated film, Ilio. This is her third nomination, and she's hoping to add a second Academy Award to the one she won for Best Animated Short Film, Bao, in 2018. Toronto's J. Miles Dale is no stranger to film's big night. The producer of the 2019 Oscar-winning Best Picture, The Shape of Water, is back in Best Picture contention as a producer on Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Shot largely on Toronto's sound stages, the retelling of Mary Shelley's classic novel netted 9 nominations. 2 films from Quebec creatives will also be making the trip to Hollywood. 18 years ago, Montreal's Chris Lavie and Maciejek Szyszybow's Madame Tuteli was nominated in the Best Animated Short Film category. They return with the stop-motion fable, The Girl Who Cried Pearls, and Montreal's award-winning documentarian Alison McAlpine's Perfectly a Strangeness is up for documentary short film. The 98th Annual Academy Awards, hosted once again by Conan O'Brien, will be broadcast on March 15th, right here on CTV. Andrea Case, CTV News.
When we come back, the Grey Cup coming to a community near you. And later up for auction, the hockey cards that could bring in a lot of cash.
All right, welcome back. Yeah, cold temperatures. And look, we know we live in Saskatchewan, but it doesn't make it any easier to talk about or deal with the fact that we've got some very cold temperatures north and south of the Yellowhead, top to bottom, side to side. There are extreme cold warnings in effect right across the province. Look at that. Hudson Bay for tomorrow, minus 27, minus 31 in Wynyard. And as we make our way into southern Saskatchewan, temperatures ranging from the mildest temperature is minus 18. That's in Maple Creek. But as you can see, the expected daytime high of minus 29 is in Pilot Butte, minus 28 in Broadview and Carlisle. And as I mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, even just a little wind makes some of those minus 20s feel like they're closer to minus 40. Minus 24 degrees tomorrow for the Leader area, and with that southwesterly wind, it's going to feel like minus 32. So keep that in mind. And Leader is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
The riders have had their day with the Grey Cup. Now it's time for fans across the province to have their turn. The riders announcing the Grey Cup is going on tour. On February 7th, it will be in Humboldt, where the iconic trophy will be at the SJHL game between the Bruins and the Broncos. The team made a commitment to the community to be one of their first stops after the Broncos bus crash in 2018. The Cup will also be at Merlis Belcher Place in Saskatoon for the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Foundation Winter Classic hockey game on January 31st. As for other communities, those stops will be announced later on social media and riderville.com. And now, shuttered theme park in Niagara Falls is reportedly once again warning the federal government that it'll be forced to euthanize dozens of beluga whales. This unless it urgently approves a new request to move them to aquariums in the U.S. Marineland has presented the plan to the fisheries minister after a proposal last year to send the whales to China was rejected. With the latest, here is John Venavelli Rao.
Since last summer, the future of these belugas has been a huge question mark, captive in a shuttered theme park which closed months ago. Now Marineland in Niagara Falls pitching a plan to ship the animals to the States, reportedly making plans to euthanize them if Ottawa says no to the proposal.
I think it could very well be the best place for these animals to go, but I think it's so wrong that Marineland is holding the government hostage and they're threatening to kill their whales if they don't get the the answer that they're looking for.
In what's being called an urgent rescue proposal, Marineland's 30 remaining belugas and 4 dolphins would reportedly be sent to aquariums in Orlando, Atlanta, Chicago, and Stonington, Connecticut. Marineland has said it can't afford to look after the whales and wants to sell the property. Last year, it pitched transferring them to an aquarium in China, but Ottawa denied that request.
You want to send them to a place where there's accountability. The original proposal to send the whales to China didn't address that. This new proposal does.
Some had hoped they could be moved to a proposed seaside sanctuary in Nova Scotia, but it has yet to raise the millions it needs to open. In a statement, the Fisheries Minister's office confirmed the minister was presented with new export permit applications and that the minister will review them expeditiously. 20 whales have died at Marineland since 2019, and experts say sending them to multiple aquariums in the U.S. is hardly a perfect solution.
It's going to break them up, so that's not great for family and relationship bonds between the animals.
And some would like to see assurances they won't be used for breeding, which is illegal in Canada. Still, the experts we talked to all think Ottawa will give the proposal the green light, given the options that remain. John Valley-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
As we told you yesterday, a federal court has ruled on an order that demanded TikTok stop operating in Canada. Morella Fernandez explains.
Don't panic. TikTok will keep entertaining Canadians, at least for now. A judge has shelved the order that demanded the social media company wind down its Canadian operation. There were security concerns about the parent company's links to the Chinese government. But there will be a new national security review of the company. TikTok says it has 14 million users in Canada. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 72.53. West Texas Intermediate down over $1 to 59.36. Western Canadian Select up just a bit to 45.43. And the TSX gained 151 points to close back above 33,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is $1.21 a litre. The lowest price in town, $1.12.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco dropped $1.36 today, and Nutrien finished the day at $93.92. Coming up, the Holy Grail of hockey cards soon sold to the highest bidder. Then the mini star with some big talent.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here tonight on CTV.
All right, the Banjo Factory's in trouble. 911 Nashville.
All right, what's being described as the Holy Grail of hockey cards is going up for auction in Ontario.
The main card in this set is the Stanley Cup card, and this is the first time the Stanley Cup was ever featured.
The 51 cards from the Champs Cigarettes hockey set are more than 100 years old, and along with the Stanley Cup card also features rookie cards from Howie Morenz and Jack Adams. A man from Windsor, Ontario, found the set in a tobacco box his father had in 1988. The leading bid right now for the Stanley Cup card is $17,000. So a lucky find.
No kidding.
Glad they hung on to it.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. All right, well, a mini basketball star stole the spotlight at a Denver Nuggets game last night. Scooby completed a flawless 360-degree dunk. There you go. During halftime, blending canine agility with some undeniable basketball flair. Turns out the Nuggets could have perhaps used some help from the Chihuahua. They ended up losing to the Lakers. But
I think they lost to the Lakers in spectacular fashion. I think the Lakers came back from a pretty big deficit. I think that was the case.
Well,
but
maybe Scooby will be their star player next time.
Well, Scooby's great, but Scooby is no Air Bud. Air Bud is some kind of athlete. Moving on. Some kind of cold is what we're dealing with as we roll into Friday. Minus 38 degrees tomorrow morning, minus 34 around noon, and minus 31 in mid-afternoon. And yes, that minus 31 with that breeze will feel closer to minus 40.
All right. Stay warm. Thanks for watching.